Have you ever had this huge, amazing dream, but then you find yourself just stuck, completely bogged down in the planning phase, paralyzed because you need everything to be absolutely perfect before you even start? If that sounds like you, then you are in exactly the right place. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a brilliant idea, for a business or a cool project, maybe a big life change, but then you spend months or heck, maybe even years just thinking about it? You're just waiting for that perfect moment, that sign from the universe that you're 100% ready? Yeah, if you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. Well, this feeling actually has a name. It's called the prison of certainty. And it is this powerful, invisible jail that we build for ourselves, and it's built on one single belief. I can't move forward until I'm absolutely sure it's going to work. Now, on the surface, that sounds pretty reasonable, right? I mean, who wants to waste time? But we're about to see how that exact belief is the very thing holding you back. So, what are the bars of this prison actually made of? Well, the answer might surprise you. It's usually not a terrible situation that traps us. It's a life that's just, good enough. This is something called the region beta paradox. Think about it. When your life is truly terrible, you have absolutely nothing to lose. So taking a big risk seems like a no-brainer. But what if your job is fine? Your life is comfortable. That okay situation just kills any sense of urgency. There's no fire under you forcing a change, so you just stay put, dreaming, but never, ever doing. And here's the kicker. This paralysis, this overthinking, it's not some personal flaw. It's actually a behavior that we were all meticulously taught. And the training ground for it? Yeah, that was the school system. See, school conditions us to have what's called a one-shot brain. We all went through it, right? High-stakes final exams, those terrifying university applications, big presentations where you get one and only one chance to get it right. So what do we learn? We learn to prepare and analyze and optimize for weeks on end because failure has real consequences. We get trained for a world where every single shot feels like it's our only shot. And this creates a huge, huge mismatch. School teaches us to play what are called one-shot games. There's a set curriculum, and you can aim for a perfect score. But real life and business and creativity, they're infinite shot games. The goal isn't to make one single perfect shot. The goal is to take as many shots as you possibly can. This conditioning fundamentally changes our whole mindset. As kids, we pretty much all operate in discover mode. We're curious, we're playful, we are not afraid to fall down and fail. But years of social and academic pressure shove us into defend mode. We start scanning for threats, optimizing for safety, and we become absolutely terrified of looking stupid. We build this shell around ourselves to protect us from judgment. But staying in that shell, locked away in the prison of certainty, it comes with a really steep price. It's something we can call the overthinking tax. And it's not just about missed opportunities either. It is a tangible loss that you pay every single day you stay stuck. This tax really comes in 3 different forms. First, there's wasted time. Spending 3 hours on a LinkedIn post that should take 10 minutes. Second, lost earnings. Every single year you delay that side hustle is a year of potential income that you will never get back. And third, diminished happiness. Let's be honest, overthinking just feels awful. It's this draining, stressful, anxious cycle. Okay. So we've diagnosed the problem pretty clearly. Now, what's the solution? How do we break out of this prison? Well, it requires a radical shift. You have to stop trying to be perfect and start thinking like a scientist. It's all about embracing the power of experiments. Jeff Bezos has this fantastic analogy for this. He says business is a lot like playing baseball, but with one massive, crucial difference. In baseball, the absolute most you can score on a single hit is 4 points, a grand slam. There is a hard cap on your success. But in business, and frankly in life, the game is completely different. You can take a shot and get 0 points. You can take 3 more shots and still get 0. But that very next shot could be a home run worth 1,000,000 points. There is no cap on your success, which means the upside is totally asymmetrical. And this is the most important part. You don't need every shot to be a success. You don't even need most of them to be. You just need to be right once. And that one single win can change absolutely everything. The goal isn't perfection, it's just to stay in the game and keep on swinging. So this brings us to the core mindset shift you need to make. Adopt an experimental mindset. Reframe every single action you take, not as a pass or fail test, but as an experiment. And here's the magic. By definition, an experiment can't fail. It can only produce data. And that data is the gold you use to inform your very next move. And this mindset builds into a really practical, repeatable cycle. First, you identify a goal. Second, form a simple hypothesis, like, I think doing X might lead to Y. Third, and this is the most important part, run the quickest, cheapest experiment you can think of to test it. And finally, you analyze the results and decide on your next move. It's a loop, you see, not a one-shot event.
Okay, let's make this even more practical. How do you know which decisions are okay to experiment with and which ones actually need that deep, careful thought that we were trained for?
Here is another genius concept from Jeff Bezos, the idea of one-way versus two-way doors. One-way doors are those huge, pretty much irreversible decisions, like getting married or having kids. You walk through that door and it is extremely hard to go back. Those require serious, slow consideration. But most decisions in life are two-way doors. You can walk through, check it out, and if you don't like what you see, you can easily walk right back out. And this leads to an incredibly powerful realization. Almost all of the actions you're overthinking right now, making that first post, sending that one email, starting that tiny side project, they are all two-way doors. They are low-stakes, reversible experiments. The cost of doing them is tiny, but the cost of not doing them is absolutely immense. This whole process, this idea of using small, two-way door experiments to move forward, is called wayfinding. It means you don't need a perfect turn-by-turn map to get to your destination. Instead, you just take one step, you gather some data, you check your compass, and you adjust your course. You find your way as you go. Let's look at a super clear example. Say you're thinking, should I become a doctor? The one-shot brain approach says you need to spend a decade and hundreds of thousands of dollars just to find out. But the wayfinding approach is so much smarter. Run cheap experiments first. Go shadow a doctor for a week. Take one out for coffee and just ask them what the job is really like. You gather real-world data before you commit to that massive one-way door.
And all of this brings us to one final crucial question for you. Forget the 10-year plan for a second. What is one small, cheap, two-way door experiment that you can run today to take a single step out of that prison of certainty?